What's up, Facebook? That is Stick Figure, Gardenia. Hey, Brandy Land, love you. Let me put these headphones in and see if we can get this thing cranking. Hey, I don't own the rights to that music. Somebody else does. What's up, Dory? See if I can get these earphones going here without shutting everything. Oh, yeah! Man, Brandy, you're live. I went back and watched it. I didn't catch it live. You're live, Brandy. I went back and watched it. Woo! Powerful. Shook me. And as this goes out to a whole lot of people, check out Brandy. She's got a lot of good stuff to say, and she's putting out, and very sensitive to the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Nico Morales, he's been doing a lot of cool stuff here lately. He's got some classes and stuff coming up I recommend to everybody. Daniel Thornes, man, dude's got one of the most loving hearts I've been around. Just passion pours out of, and all these guys actually. Derek Carter, Andrew Melrose, Sherry Butts, Dr. K. Fairchild, Eugene. There's just so many of them. Daniel O. that are just putting it out right now. And let me turn this off, and I'm gonna put something out too. We'll let the room fill up a little bit, and then what I want to talk about is judgments, offense, triggers. What's up, Becky? And I figured this thing out now. Saloma, I hope I pronounced that right. Saloma, yeah. What's up? And what do we do with those triggers and offenses when they come? Because a whole lot of people talk about them. I hadn't heard too many people with some real simple techniques to dissolve them, transmute them, you know. And that's what we're going to talk about. Blockages. And hey, Dr. K, Mama K, glad to have you. And I hope everybody can hear me. If you can't, the other day I think there were some people that were saying they were having a hard time hearing me, and I apologize. I'm kind of new to the computer thing. I usually go live in my truck on the cuff, and but I got the computer now. So that's good. I pronounced it perfectly. Awesome. And I figured out how to look at y'all's comments while I'm speaking and stuff, so we can interact. And I will put this out there. I'm gonna start doing some classes. I'm gonna coordinate it with some of the other guys, so I'm not, we're not stepping on each other's toes at the same times. But I have found out how to stay in peace through extreme adversities. I've also found out some really simple techniques to stay in a stream of revelation. And I've also found out some really cool ways to encounter oneness and to be aware of the many parts that we are. Some people call it spirit travel. And I've also found out how to move weather patterns and other things. So I want to share that with people through some very simple techniques and some very, it's just real simple things that I do and that we can practice. And so I'll be putting some classes out there here in the really near future, all free, of course. And if you're interested, please inbox me to say, yeah, I'm interested, and I'm going to put this thing together. And each week, once a week, we can interact. And I'm sure you've got things to bring to the plate that I need to know, and I want to hear about it. Sushana, you changed your name, Grace. I love it. Yep, in the face of adversity. So I've faced some pretty extreme adversities in my life and contradictions, and through the contradictions I've learned some very, 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 very important techniques in how to stay in peace. And I've really, in the last few years, been on this journey because I've become so aware of my thought life and so aware of, I guess, maybe the subconscious. You know, I haven't gotten a lot on that. I don't like to speak on a lot of things unless I got it from the Spirit, you would say, revelation, my own revelation. So I try not to speak on things that, I haven't really gotten. I do know there's the conscious and there's a layer of some subconscious that I would say is the database of all, really. And we're only aware probably of, our own individual subconscious. But as we become more aware, we get more in tune with the all. And you pick up things and you discern things, and which can be kind of tough when you're picking up pain or you're picking up emotional disharmony, or you're picking up some, stagnant energy, or maybe some energy that's been suppressed, which causes instability, right? And causes disharmony, these things, because we're not free flowing, And some say we have these energy centers or chakras within ancient, these are ancient texts and ancient, this is ancient knowledge, it's been around forever. But I personally have not gotten a lot on the chakras. What's up, Rick? Good to have you. Hey, Deborah, good to have you. So I know they're there, and I know there's things that can be suppressed because I feel it in the lower parts of my earth, right? And let's say, you get, I don't even want to name it because it's energy. And as soon as I name it, I've put a form around it, So let's say I feel something rising up in me, and usually it's because I've been triggered, and it rises up and I react, and out comes, and I would call that anger, in the past, but I know it's just energy that's been down in there. And I know I'm dealing with a memory or a program because I'm reacting. The trigger's been pulled, right? So I want to get into some of this, and I put a post up called Freeing Our Energy Centers, or Freeing Our Energy Centers of Blockages. And here recently, it's been revealed to me what causes these blockages. And it all has to do with my perception and the way I'm seeing. So let me preface this with a few things. And one of them's out of the Yoga Sutra 1.3, and it says that the seer is established in its natural environment. The seer. So when I read that, excuse me, Benny wants in. Come on, buddy. Benny. Benny wants me to come out and play. Here he comes again. Hang on. Benny, come on, bud. No. If you hear him scratching at the door, that's what he's doing. So anyway, the seer is established in its natural environment. That's Yoga Sutra 1.3. And you have to ask these questions, when you read through these things. Who is the seer? Because this seer is being established, being developed. Or established means being kind of founded, or like standing firm, established, matured would be maybe another good word to describe that. That's just what's coming to my mind. I haven't actually looked up that word established. No, I have, and I'm just not recalling what it says, but in its natural environment. So I go, okay, the seer is the one who sees true reality. So sees reality as it truly is. The seer would be the one that does not see good and evil, sees what is true, reality. There is no true and false reality, actually. There's only reality. And then there's a misrepresentation of reality, and the definition of a misrepresentation of reality is an illusion. An illusion is a misrepresentation of reality. So either I'm seeing and perceiving and judging an illusion, or I'm seeing reality as it truly is. So how is this true observer that sees reality? sees what's true. How is this one established? And where is this one that observes, if not within me and is me? And is me. Well, this one is established in its true environment. So what is its true environment? Well, I found it in the Gospel of Thomas. And in the Gospel of Thomas, it says I'll read it. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah. Here you go. If they ask you, what is the sign of your Father in you? Say to them, it is movement and repose. So the sign of your Father in you is movement and repose. And I look up the word repose, and it's a meditative state of peace and tranquility, our natural inner environment, our natural state of being. Therefore, it is what is true. So my natural state of being is one of peace and tranquility, which is my inner environment. So my natural environment is my inner environment. It's the Spirit. It is the observer. It is the Holy Breath or Holy Spirit, which is me. The anointing, the Christ, the unique expression of the one that I am. So, come on, buddy. Thank you. He's in. He's in. He's in. Where was I? Okay. Okay. So there's an establishment going on. So I took that and I said, okay, if the truth of all things, okay, if I want to know the truth of anything, I must go to that thing's origin or source. Therefore, the source and origin of all things is the truth of all things. So the truth of all things is the source and origin of all things. So I asked myself, what's the source and origin of all things? If not the one and only being. What's the source and origin of all life? If not the one and only being. Benny says hi. Hey, Elizabeth. So all things are the one. And the one is all things. Therefore, all things are true. So nothing's untrue. The truth is the same yesterday, today, and today, which means the truth never changes. The only thing that may be untrue, if we want to call it untrue, or distorted, I would say, would be maybe a better word to use to describe that, would be my perception or my vision, my sight. So it's my sight, it's my perception, it's my lens that needs to be cleansed or cleaned. Because I've been looking through a glass dimly, right? It's been distorted. Because I just said that the one and only being, the truth of all things is the source of all things. And the source of all things is the one and only being. Because if there's only one being, can there be any other being? And if everything has life, what is the life within everything, if not the one and only being? It is our Father. And in the Aramaic, it's Abun, our one, absolute, only, eternal being. Our one, absolute, only, eternal being. So, if all things are true and the seer is established, the one that sees all things are true, the Bible says it's the pure in heart that shall see God. It's the pure in heart that sees God. God is the one and only being, which is true. So it's the pure heart that sees God. Purified, cleansed of what? Of what? If my natural state of being is a meditative state of peace and tranquility, then how can I ever be in a state that is outside of that? Because that's in the present moment, right? That's in the present moment. What's up, James? Good to hear from you, brother. My natural state of being, the one that is peace and tranquility, is in the now. And that's where the seer is established. The one who sees, the true observer, that sees what's true. So if I'm uneasy, if I'm diseased, in the definition, and to be diseased, hey Sandra, to be diseased is simply the absence of ease. So disease in all of its manifestations is rooted in the absence of ease. And the absence of ease is rooted in not living in the present moment. It's to not live in the present moment creates dis-ease. Because you truly are in the present moment. You can't be anywhere else, actually. You're always in the present moment. Unless you think, unless you're living from the past. Unless you think, unless you're living from a memory, which is a program. See, okay, so let me break this down real quick. So there is only one being, the one and only being. Jesus. And if anyone thinks that Jesus was wasn't a real story, that's okay too. But if there was a Jesus, let's just say, and I know what Jesus' name means. It means to become the Christ. It means to become the anointing or the unique expression of the one that you are. That's what the name means. To become the unique you, the authentic you, the only you, the true observer, the observer that sees everything true, that sees God, right? The one and only being. So they would have spoken in Aramaic back then, and they would have called God Allah, which means the one and only being. There can't be any other beings if there's only one being, right? And then and then our Father means our absolute only eternal being. Our one absolute only eternal being. Ours. It's our being together. There's not a being outside of our being. There's not some Father out there. There's not some God out there outside of our being. There's only our being. What's up, Romeo? Yeah, I'm going to get into the origin of the program, Elizabeth. That's what I want to talk about. So you've got these individual bodies, which we could see as cells. Because look, if we're made in the exact image, not just the image, the exact image and perfect likeness of the one and only being, Elohim or gods or God, the one and only being that's made up of many cells. We are those cells. So if my body is the exact image, it's made up of many cells, right? Yeah. So on a micro or an individual scale, you've got these individual bodies, which are cells, making up the greater body. You could say humanity. Let's just say humanity. Let's not take the whole universe right now. Let's just say humanity. So you got the individual body and you've got the greater body, the micro and the macro. Okay? Let's take those two right now. And the individual bodies and then the greater body is humanity. So our individual bodies and the greater body of humanity naturally cleanses and purifies itself of disease. Dis-ease, the absence of ease. It transitions itself from disharmony, imbalance, and instability into harmony, balance, and stability. It's a natural process of the body. If we have dis-ease or the absence of ease here, it's going to manifest itself. It's going to manifest itself so that this body can come back into harmony. Because the body can't truly be in health unless it's in harmony. It can't be in health and wholeness unless it's in harmony. Therefore, the greater body can't be in health and harmony, health and wholeness, unless it's in harmony. Yes, we can get to know the true self, for sure. It's a natural process. So dis-ease is the absence of ease, which means all of its manifestations are rooted in the absence of ease. And since our natural state of being is one of ease, which is in the present moment, this ease in all of its manifestations can only come from us not being present. That's the only place it can come from. So, if you haven't looked around, there are some that we have not, it's not promoted, it's not propagated, it's not in the media, they don't talk about it. There are those that aren't aging, that have been living for thousands of years. Talk to Nico, he knows all about this stuff. There are some that have attained immortality. And some say, well, you already have immortality because you are immortal. But I go, okay, why are you aging? Why are we breaking down? Dis-ease, the absence of ease. Because your natural state of being is one of peace and tranquility. That's ease, that's repose. And it's in the now. It's in the now. Which is actually the only place that you can be, but you can think you are somewhere else. It's kind of like this. It's kind of like this. I've always been holy. I've always been whole. I came here righteous, pure, innocent, miraculous, powerful, all these things. I came here as the Christ. But I thought, and I was taught, therefore I thought I was someone else. I was taught by every system of the current world structure, every external system, that I was another image. I was taught by every external occurrence that I felt and judged and deemed as good and evil, that I was something else. It's just like this. If I'm sitting in a car, I can't be anywhere else. I'm in the car. It's the same way with the present moment. But if I think I'm somewhere else, I'm not in the car. I have to realize I'm in the car. After I realize I'm in the chair, I have to realize and wake up, I'm in the present moment. I need to encounter and experience and feel the present now. And that's what we're going to get into. That's what we'll get into. So here's the deal. All of us have been living in a misrepresentation of reality, which is an illusion. This misrepresentation of reality is being projected from the memory, which are thought images of good and evil within our own minds. So the memory of good and evil, which is within our own minds. Now remember, there's this huge database that covers all of us, but I'm just talking about the individual right now, which is really not really even true because we're all connected. There's no individualism. But on a micro level, the memory of good and evil has come from every occurrence in your life that's been deemed good or bad, good and bad. Everything, you deemed a traumatic event, deemed a painful event, deemed a sad event, deemed a depressive event, deemed a good event, deemed a fabulous event, deemed an amazing event, deemed weighing and measuring the entire time, when everything is neutral, because everything is its source. If there's only one energy, how can there be any other energies? We've been sensing and feeling. When you feel something, you've just sensed pure frequency and vibration. You've just sensed pure energy. And that's all it is until it's been deemed, till we've judged that it's something else. It's anxiety. It's depression. It's this, it's that, nervousness, it's anger, It's, we're putting names on something that's pure. And it's all been based off the memory of good and evil. Everything we've been taught and everything we've thought, every occurrence up to now, which has also created a construct called a belief system, which is also our current reality, which is creating our reality, which leaves us in a box. So, since it's a memory and we've all been living life according to the past, keeping us from the experience of the present now. So it's a memory that's being projected upon what's true, the canvas of reality. And we're perceiving that memory, which is a misrepresentation of reality. And we're judging that memory, that's a thought image that's been projected onto the canvas of reality, which is true. And we're perceiving it as good or evil, good or bad, based upon the memory, which is an occurrence that's happened in your past. Therefore, you're living from the past. You're not in the present, which means we're not experiencing the present now, which creates dis-ease. And as soon as we judge it good and evil, we close ourselves off. It creates blockages. It's the judgments. It's the judgments. So the universe has been bringing us these mirrors, which I now know to be the judgments. So the universe brings me a mirror, which is the judgment of good and evil. I'll give you a good example. And the reason the universe has been bringing me these mirrors is so that I can set myself free from living in the past, which is creating dis-ease. Because I am the true me in the now. And the seer that sees what's true is established in the now. But if I'm living life according to the past, judging good and evil, weighing and measuring everywhere, everything externally, getting my value from these external measures, which is actually the definition of mammon, which is the root of all evil, to give value to an illusion, which is judgment. I'm giving value to an illusion. It's a memory projecting, that's what's going on here. So the universe brings me these mirrors, which I now see as these judgments, and I'm about to tell you how you know what's going on. It's the offense. It's the trigger. You feel uneasy. You feel dis-eased. You feel out of sorts. It's because I've just judged, deemed, decided that someone or something, which is me, everything is me, is not its source. It's the plank in my eye. To judge, deem, or decide anyone is not the Christ, because Christ is all. And the Christ is the anointing, which is the projection, which is the image, which is the unique expression of the one and only being that each and every person and each and everything is. And on the greater macro scale, humanity, the Christ is the one idea of the one and only being, the unique expression of the one and only being in, through, and as humanity, the entire body. So the universe brings me these mirrors, which I now see as judgments, and I know I've judged something outside of its truth when I feel offended, when I feel triggered, when I feel uneasy, dis-ease, the absence of ease. When I'm out of peace, I know there's a judgment there. And that judgment causes the energy within my body I suppress it. And it becomes stagnant, or creates blockages, therefore, which means I'm not free flowing unconditionally through all the centers within my body. So these memories are programs that are presenting themselves as thought images within our minds. And they're being cast on reality, distorting reality by the judgment of the memory of good and evil. It causes blockages, not allowing us to experience harmony. Because harmony can only come when I am open. When I judge, I am closed. I'm boxing myself in. But in order to release the Christ, in order to bring forth the Christ that I am, I need to be open. That's why Jesus set Mary Magdalene free of the 7 demons, 7 blockages within the 7 energy centers within. They weren't freely communicating and flowing. There's lots of techniques to help move this stuff, but I'm telling you about one technique to be aware of when I'm being ran by a program or memory. I'm judging, deciding, deeming reality to be the memory that's just been projected from my own mind, which is from the past, which means I'm not in the present moment in my own mind, which is creating instability within. And because we know that our atoms are constantly seeking stability, an environment that is stable, when their environment is unstable, they break down into smaller forms of life where they find the stability that they're constantly seeking. Which means this thing we've been calling death, decay, aging, that is only life. There is no death. Because the atoms, the molecules are breaking down into smaller forms of life where they find the stability that they're seeking. But the only reason they're seeking out stability is because there's no stability here. We're living in the past, not in the present moment, where the true observer is, the seer, is established, which is my natural state of being, peace and tranquility. So how do I know when I'm judging something to be as it is not? How do I know when I'm in the past? When there's an absence of peace and tranquility. Well, how do I know when there's an absence of peace and tranquility? Yep, the present. Yep, you got it, Dr. K. Meditation and awareness of present opens up. Yep, I'm about to get to that in just a second. Because I want to know, what do I do when I become aware that I'm being run by a program, which is a memory, which means I'm not in the present moment? What do I do? And it's real simple. What can I do? Lots of techniques. I'm just going to show you one. And man, I've been beating this one here for a while. I did it over the weekend. So the mirrors, which are these judgments, are actually blessings. They're a gift. I had a friend that said, hey man, he said the offense is the gift. It's a gift. I forget how he put it on paraphrasing. Steve Conover, check him out. He said the offense is a gift. And he said it's a gift so that I can remove the plank from my eye. And then I went, okay, how do I remove the plank from my eye? How do I do that? I'm about to get into that. How do I transmute the memory? How do I hit the delete button? If you're really interested in something really cool, the Ho'oponopono. And it's not a work because I still had a lot of religious constructs, a lot of religious programs that were running me when I did the certification course, and it kept telling me this is a work, this is a work, this is a work. It's not a work. It takes discipline to walk in freedom and harmony. I promise you. Some wind is not going to come blowing along and just all of a sudden open you up, and you're going to be walking in complete freedom and harmony, walking on water and moving objects and healing the sick and all this stuff. I've had things happen to me where I've got to test drive certain things, but it's faded because I have not known how to keep it. I have not known how to stay in the present moment. So I've walked through many contradictions and many adverse situations and a whole lot of adversity to learn how to stay in peace, to learn how to bring myself right back into the present right now, where I am, where I am. So the judgments, don't beat yourself up. We're here to free ourselves. The judgment is pointing you to the memory. We're here to free ourselves from the memory of sin and death, which ultimately allows us to be ourself, because we're no longer weighing and measuring. Deborah, yes, sometimes it does come blowing along and things happen. But ultimately, I know that we are here to learn to be the one and only being consciously, which means I'm not just waving a magical wand wondering if something's going to happen. And I'm not just pleading and begging and crying, hoping that wind comes along. I know how to keep myself. I know how to create my reality. I know how to be the GOD, the generator, operator, and director of my own feelings, my own thought life. How to live in between thought and feeling. Because the feeling comes and crystallizes into form, which is thought. You're not thinking and creating feelings. The thought is the effect of the feeling, or it is the effect of energy. Hey, Brandy, good to have you. Hey, Deborah, good to have you. So these mirrors, which are the judgments, are blessings. And they will ultimately set us free from the illusion of reality, from living in the past. Ultimately, so we can live in the present moment and in our natural state of being, in our natural environment, which is peace and tranquility. So we can experience who we truly are all the time, all the time. So when I become aware that I've judged someone or something outside of its source, weighing and measuring them in accordance to the memory of good and evil, I've just become aware that the universe has brought me a mirror in the form of a judgment in order to help me set myself free from the memory of good and evil that I just projected onto the canvas of reality, distorting and misrepresenting reality. I cannot truly see, nor can I truly experience reality, people, the world, nature, life, any of that until I've been set free from the memory of sin and death. The memory of good and evil, same thing. So once I'm aware of this, now how do I know I'm aware? Do you know what it feels like to be offended? I'll give you an example. And this is small. We do it all the time. I'm sitting at Mellow Mushroom, me and Jessica, and we were going to have a beer and have some food. We're riding the motorcycle. And I'm sitting there and I'm not getting any service. And I say, how come every time I come here, I never get service? Not true. I do get service. And then I start going into why I'm not getting service. Oh, she's mad at something and she's not coming out here, this and that. You know, my mind's starting to do that thing, you know, from the past. I'd been in there before and it took them a long time to get me food. And he ended up calling the guy called the manager out there. I never asked for it. And they ended up giving us this discount, but it was a big deal. But the server actually did it. So I went back to the memory. See, I'm casting that memory onto the present reality where I'm sitting, and I'm distorting present reality and judging and perceiving the very memory I just cast. Not living in the present. And I'm becoming uneasy. I feel uneasy. I'm offended. So what do I do once I know this is going on? What do I do once I know I'm triggered? Do I dig in there and try to figure out what the memory is? What the program is? What the data is? No. This is the key to everything, man. I am convinced. This is the key to everything. This is the key to establishing who I truly am. Because I'm in and out, which means I need to get settled. And I'm not really seeing anyone that's settled 100%. So once I see this and I'm aware, I become aware, I'm uneasy. I feel uneasy. I've been triggered. I'm offended. I got 22 viewers. That's my number there. Now it's 23. I'm offended. I've been triggered. What do? I be still and know that I'm God. What does that really mean? I relax. I drop down within and I experience the true one that I am. There it is. It's just that simple. Now the hope and open you turn within, thank you. And when you say thank you, you're actually kind of moving out of the way and God's hitting that delete button on that memory. I actually pause, stop all my doings right there. If I need to go to the bathroom and find a place free from disturbances, that's what I got to do. I used to have to go find porta-johns on job sites because I needed a place free from the outside disturbances because I had not mastered the art of becoming still, of dropping down in the stillness. I had not become comfortable with the stillness. Peace and tranquility was so foreign to me because my life, I was living all of my life from the past, projecting it onto the present, distorting reality right there in front of me. Constantly disturbed, constantly unstable, you know? And what I just say happens when we're unstable. Our inner environment's unstable. Our thought life's unstable. Our atoms and molecules break down into smaller forms of life. We age, decay, dis-ease manifest, and the body throws off billions of atoms at one time. It eradicates itself of all disease. It's a natural occurrence of the body. This is crazy. This thing's popping up so much stuff on here. I'm starting to feel a little disturbed. My computer's acting up. Oh my God, I just got triggered. So I need to free myself of all disturbances and be free and be still. So, so guess what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to dig in there and try to figure out the memory. There's too many layers. I'm not going to go into this advanced technology that I am and try to trace back into the program to delete the program. There's too many. Because I'm not just dealing with this program, I'm dealing with, it's one body. I'm dealing with a lot of programs, a lot of memory. So what do? I stop all my doings. I go find a place free from disturbances. It's going to feel mechanical at first if you haven't ever done this. But through discipline and repetition, it will become a natural way of life for you. You'll be walking down the street and feel disturbed, and all of a sudden you'll just turn within, experience peace and tranquility. The memories dissolve, transmutes, because the truth transmutes all things into the truth. And you move on. So I free myself of all disturbances, which means I got to turn my phone off. In the chaos. I relax my head because when I relax my head, the body follows. I melt myself into wherever I'm sitting. If it's on the toilet seat in a porta john, I melt myself. Melt, melt, melt. Stop time. Become still. I slow my breathing. Hey! And I gotta go. I become mindfully aware of the breath and the energy within the breath. I slow it. And I drop down further because I hold it at the top. I drop down within myself. I encounter, I experience, I feel the pure energy that I am. And by experiencing who I am, I'm embracing what is true. And since the truth transmutes all into the truth, the memory is dissolved into what is true. And the seer is being established. The lower frequencies and slower vibrations are consumed by the highest frequency and highest vibration of myself. So I hope that helped. Love you all. Y'all wanna come in? You wanna say hey? What's up? I ain't seen you in a while. Love your dress. This is Ellie Mae. You wanna say hey? There's Jessica. Oh. You wanna tell them bye? And Benny wants to say hey. All right, we gotta go. Love y'all. How do you get off this thing?